At least you get in the fights. At least you get in the fights. At least you get in the fights.
I put belt to ass, and you can see that's what I
Richard
do.
Torrez taking on Guido Vianello this Saturday.
sir.
I will be in the building. I'll be at the Palms covering the fight, BT. Good fight, man. I'm looking forward to this fight. And I do think Richard Torrez will win this fight. I'll go first then. So
Go ahead.
Vianello, I expect to land his right hand. He's a rangy heavyweight with good feet who's come into his own. He hurt Efe Ajagba a couple of times in that fight. And, he's got athleticism and, that tennis background and everything. So I think early on, Torres is going to be getting hit by the taller, rangier, the guy who bounces around, has some athleticism to him, and Guido knows how to land that right hand when he gets his distance. But I think Torres will either adjust and begin to dominate, or if he can't dominate, he will just walk through whatever he has to walk through to get to Guido and win this fight come hell or high water. And a lot of people aren't in on Richard Torrez. They see a shorter heavyweight who just doesn't have, like, a lot of people are much more enamored with Moses Itauma right now.
Yeah.
For sure. But Torrez, he's just not for a lot of people. He's not jumping off the page and everything. He's a smaller heavyweight. They think back to the Jalalov knockout, although he avenged that with a much more competitive gold medal match, which shows you what Richard Torrez is all about.
Got character.
And so allow me to be the guy who tries to sell you on Richard Torrez, right? I'm buying I was rewatching the Munoz fight. I'm buying the Richard Torrez stock. Yes, I opened the NASDAQ on Torrez stock. Now I am buying it while it's cheap. It's mine. I'm diverting some of my assets, my American heavyweight assets, from Jared Anderson. I got love for Jared, but he doesn't seem like he even wants to fight right now. And I'm putting my assets into Richard Torrez right now, and I'll tell you why, BT. No, he's not the most talented heavyweight America has seen in the last 20 years or so, right?
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Is he the most dedicated, enthusiastic, hardworking, and disciplined heavyweight America has had in a long time? The most ambitious and hungry? You tell me another heavyweight, case in point of his dedication and work ethic, you tell me another heavyweight that looks like Richard Torrez on the scale in today's division.
I can't think of anybody. When you frame it like that, I mean, I never thought of it like that, but when you frame it like that, I would say nah.
It's not a bodybuilding contest, right?
A lot of the American heavyweights of the last 20 years have been, front runners, like guys that just tire out after 4, 5, 6 rounds. I think of the guys like Kevin Johnson and Seth Mitchell, Calvin Brock, them kind of guys.
Yeah.
So
Wilder had heart and fighting spirit and balls and power
and a crazy right hand.
Yeah,
crazy right hand.
Crazy and athleticism, and he was in shape. He was good, a lean fighter. People would make fun of the skinny legs, but there wasn't an ounce of fat on Deontay Wilder. He looked like an athlete and was one. People like to shit on Wilder and not act like he wasn't this dangerous threat for about a decade at least, as flawed as he was in plenty of other avenues. But anyway, Torrez, though, I like what I'm seeing. He is doing a lot of Usyk-like movements. He is studying Usyk to a T, which shows you how intelligent he is and how humble he is to say, first of all, intelligent enough, have a good enough boxing IQ to say, who should I be studying to get my game to the next level? I shouldn't be studying Muhammad Ali or Lennox Lewis or guys that don't match my proportions. Usyk, an undersized heavyweight who's doing a bunch of feigning. You see Torrez implementing those feints into him in there all the time. And Torrez punches hard, but he especially punches hard once he starts to break you down, and once he's allowed to turn up the leverage and really commit fully to his shots. Because if he tries to commit too early to his shots, he's reaching for punches against bigger heavyweights, and that's how he'll get countered and hurt, like against Jalalov in the Olympics. But what he's starting to do now, what he's learned from Usyk, is to break you down with those feints, touch you up, take the angles, start to wear you out because you're not in as good a condition as he's in. And then he can start to really sit down on those punches, and that's when he becomes the bull in the china shop. So I think he wins this fight. It's just a matter of, can he look impressive and make believers out of people while doing it? Or is he just going to have to walk through a bunch of right hands and eventually just get to Guido's chest and out physical him, outman him? Even though Guido's no punk, I don't think I think few fighters have the dog of a Richard Torrez.
Okay. So it's a good assessment, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued about this fight because I think Guido's one of you mentioned the right hand, which I think is one of Guido's best qualities, but his other best quality I think is actually his gas tank. I think Guido, like if you watch the Agjagba fight when he lost that fight, I thought it was a good performance. He lost by split decision. Agjagba had to really dig deep into that toolbox and start. He boxed southpaw in spots that fight.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a case to win that fight, and Agjagba is a solid, he's at a solid level in the heavyweight division. This is the first opponent I think Richard's fought, but we can honestly say it's going to be like live competition, because remember when he fought Curtis Harper, I remember I was at that fight because I was in Florida, and I remember the probing with the lead hand that Usyk likes to do. He was doing a lot of that, but I also remember that it took Torres some time to work out getting past this crafty veteran who clearly wasn't in the best shape in Curtis Harper. So I think he'll win. I think he'll win by decision. I think I'll outwork Guido because I think with the way Richard likes to fight, he's going to smother the right hand. It's going to get to a point where he's getting used to seeing the right hand coming at him, and he's going to smother the right hand. And maybe he'll break him down late. I think Guido will hold up long enough. I mean, Guido was an Olympian, just like Richard Torrez. I'm pretty sure it's the first Olympian that Richard Torrez has fought in his pro career so far. So yeah, I think he wins, and I think to hit on some of your points about his dedication and his enthusiasm, he is listen, Sean. Just as well as I do because we talk to fighters. We both have interviewed a lot of fighters over the years, so you get an idea about personalities and people. He's probably one of the most enthusiastic people I've ever talked to in boxing about anything.
No, he really has a great personality. He really is a great kid.
Yeah, anything, like not even just boxing, because I think when I interviewed him, he was talking about wanting to learn Spanish because he's Mexican American, and so I hope that he can do something for American heavyweight boxing, because if Richard Torrez does not pan out, I don't know where else to look for American heavyweight boxing.
Josh Edwards, Jamar Talley, shout out to our Olympic boys, but
Josh Edwards, Jamar Talley, I'll throw in my boy Lorenzo Medina, but like honestly, there's not really like those are good fighters, but
none of them. Moses Itauma.
I don't know. Moses Itauma. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's Itauma. Moses Itauma.
That heavyweight motherfucker from Britain.
Yeah, him. The British Mike Tyson. He was trying to beat Mike Tyson's record, which
I say that with love, by the way. Like that's me putting respect on Moses Itauma's name.
No, he's good. Like he just fought his last fight. He just fought Dempsey McKean, who took Philip Hrgovic 12 rounds before Hrgovic stopped him. He knocked him out in 1 round.
Yeah,
so he's making statements. He's already ranked. He's already a guy that you could look at as fighting someone in the top 10. We don't have a heavyweight in America that it's on that sort of fast track, on that sort of trajectory. But maybe with the help of Top Rank and the matchmakers at Top Rank and time and patience and experience, Richard Torrez can develop into potentially a challenger to someone like Itauma in the future.
Yeah, I think he's an overachiever. I think he's the guy who's not going to get 100% out of his talent, but 110% out of his talent. He's going to squeeze even a little extra juice that's not even there out of himself, Torrez. That's what I think his gift is. It's his work ethic and his character, and he can punch hard. He's got. But so, go ahead.
Another thing that I think Richard Torrez has going for him, Sean, is that his dad was a fighter. His dad, I think, I don't know if he was pro, but I know his dad competed as an amateur or to some degree. So he grew up, learning and seeing what it takes to be a fighter. And I think those things, having that example, that's going to help him, as well as his hard work and dedication. That's where I think all those things come from. Being in that environment, seeing your dad. His dad's, I met him one time. He's a serious guy. He don't play no games. So I think Torrez has a chance to do something, and I hope he does.
Yeah, they come from a very serious working class background in Central California. When I had to drive out there I had to go past his hometown. I'm trying to, it's a small place in California. Tulare. Yeah, I drove by there. Very rural, like a lot of farm worker, cherry picking type stuff. A lot of Mexican immigrants, mostly, first generation Mexican immigrants, second generation kids growing up like that. It's just very hardworking kind of background out there in Tulare. So that they embody that and represent that. I'm hopeful that he can deliver something that starts to make people believers Saturday night. And I say that despite my man Guido. Guido, if you're watching, como stai, paisan? I love you. We love Guido. So may the best man win. Guido might have the craft and the movement and the right hand and the boxing ability to just tag Richard repeatedly and get him. But, I think Torrez will win. Let's see if he can start to make people even flirt with the idea that he really will make a run at fighting for the heavyweight titles and be a serious threat for it. Let's see. Saturday night, his real progression in the heavyweight division begins. I'm excited to cover it and see it. So,
thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you click right over here.